I mean, it's clear now that the CIA have come out and said there are things we've been tracking and we can't explain it. These are what you would call a UFO. So to you, that's nothing new. To you, that's just confirmation to what you've been saying. That's why when a lot of people can be skeptic and say, "Oh yeah, bullshit," when you look at it, well, look what happened in your area. The Phoenix Lights happened in your area, so that's people backing up what you've said. Right.
But we saw it. We actually saw the Phoenix Lights. I mean, my wife and I were coming out of a movie in Glendale, and we jumped back in my Mustang. I got a convertible Mustang, and we put the top down, and we were, hauling butt down the freeway, and we actually saw.
Sticking to the speed limit down the freeway. This is
recorded, well, I must say that's one of the good things about Arizona, and that is it's all relative when it comes to speed limits. But we were hauling butt. I mean, literally, because we saw this stuff going out to the west of us, and I'm like, "Wow, look at that!" And she's like, "Yeah, what is that?" And I said, "Well, that's the same stuff we've been seeing out around the ranch." And I said, "I wonder if it's kind of going back to where the ranch is." And so, I've just floored it. And we got out to Jackrabbit Trail, which is the road that goes south to the ranch. And we could clearly see, like a mothership, a big ship with smaller ships that were docking with it and leaving and going off and doing other things and then coming back to it. And, sure enough, I mean, everybody saw it. I mean, everybody was outside looking at it. There were hundreds of witnesses, thousands of witnesses to that. Yeah. And so, it was a big deal. And then Fife Symington, the governor at that time, came out and made a big joke out of it. And, most of us that were aware of the kind of thing that was going on, we were just mortified by his doing that instead of taking the opportunity to acknowledge it for what it was and say, look, we don't know what this is, but obviously, clearly, it's something important, Mm-hmm. And then at that point is when I made up my mind to go ahead and take my video of the various different similar experiences that I was having with these lights and have it analyzed. And so I sent it over to a company called Village Labs, which is a professional video company, and they do analysis of this type of thing. Mm-hmm. And, they went through it very, very carefully. And they said, you know what, John, the temperature of the color of the lights, okay, that's how they do spectral analysis, mm-hmm. is they go ahead and they analyze the color. And if the color matches, then that represents a particular temperature range. And they said, your lights that were for the Phoenix Lights and the images that you captured on video, across time beforehand and afterwards, they all perfectly match. So you have the very first video of any of this.
Wow. And is that still in your possession? You still
yes,
have?
It is.
Okay, so that's in nice little cans, just waiting to be released.
Well, you see, and that's the whole thing about all this, and that is that, I'm sort of the reluctant participant as far as all this goes, because, all I ever wanted to do was just have a damn horse ranch. And I really, didn't want to be the person that all of a sudden was, forced into a position where I had to, not only represent like the alien killer and all the rest of the stuff that's come along with it. And, it's still kind of hard for me to, back into that role. I mean, I really never chose it. I never wanted to be that. And, I've just kind of, it's like somebody just keeps pushing me further and further into it. Yeah. And, it's not the greatest thing in the world.
Well, I've got a question for Bruce right now. I think
Please.
Yep. This is just before we delve into all of John's third and fourth kind experiences. What is there anything that you've heard from John while writing the book where you've thought, come on, man, that can't have happened?
No.
Nothing.
No. I mean, in 2012, yes. When I came back to the book in 2019, no. And the reason is I started to have experiences here in the rainforest. My neighbors were taking photos of orbs over my house, and I had some phenomenon going on inside the house. This is why I connected with John again, okay. Because it was almost like in my destiny to write this book, because I began as a skeptic in 2012, and then in 2019 I was experiencing it myself, and then believe me, I mean, John, how many hours did we spend talking to write this book? Probably over 500 on Skype, most of it recorded. I mean, I'd say about a tenth of it is in the book, and that's what was so hard. And I believe all of it. Let's just say that I have been initiated into this whole ET world now, and it's not even a question of belief. That's the wrong word. Mm-hmm. I know it. I use the word belief because it's not a knowledge you can transfer to somebody else in a scientific way. They either have the experience or they don't. And writing the book with John was like my baptism into this. I mean, these MFers came and they were at my house for a while. Some really weird goings on here. I had a white light show up. My wife took a picture of it. It was in the bedroom, cleaned out the whole house. I was ready to tell John after 3 weeks, again, I quit. What happens when you sit down to write about this stuff is this extremely negative energy builds up inside you, and you don't know where it's coming from. Mm-hmm. You think, oh, my wife changed the brand of coffee, or like, what is going on here? And then slowly you begin to clue in, and you go, man, no, this is related to the book. This is what happened in 2012. And just as I was getting ready to quit, this white light showed up in my house for 10 minutes on a Saturday morning. I was in bed with my wife, and it was up at the ceiling, and it just hovered there. And then everything was light and beautiful after that, and I was able to finish the book. So a lot of goings on here, a lot of goings on. I've never seen a gray, but I can say that I have felt them. Yeah. That first 3 weeks, I describe it as like, it's like a little bit of white noise in your consciousness. So you're about 97% your normal self, and then there's this 3% that's like a TV channel with nothing on it, just white noise. And every once in a while you tune into it and you go, where is that coming from? What's going on? And then as soon as the white light came in, all of that just sort of cleaned out, and I was able to finish the book. So this book for me, Stardust Ranch, The Incredible True Story, was very spiritual. It was very phenomenological for me, and as it was in 2012, but I don't think I was mature enough to handle it back then. It freaked me out too much.